Fluffy Gamers, they take their map pick of Sunset, and it takes us to that map number 2 of Lotus. Welcome back, everybody, to VALORANT Challengers North America, where I gotta say, it made sense. We talked about Fluffy Gamers being really good on this map of Sunset, Wyatt, and that is exactly what they did.
Yeah, they're just too well drilled on this map. Dobros, they had a decent amount of rounds that they could have won, to be honest, but even the ones where they got an advantage, so often it would slip away. Listen, a couple of them were just from crazy individual plays. This one from Mummy, where he TP'd behind them. But what FAIM do so well on this map is, no matter the situation, they will calm to each other every little piece of utility that they have, and will play off of each other perfectly, even if it's a hopeless situation, even if they're 10% chance of winning, they will do everything they can to win. They don't go for silly plays.
Yeah, that round, by the way, was insane by precision as well, but
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Overall, I do agree with what Wyatt was saying. It's just, it seems like even if you have some sort of opportunity for Dobros, especially on their attack side, and they're trying to find another gap, another opening that they could try to take advantage of, there's always a player from Fluffy Gamers already there, and they could convert it back in their favor. So there wasn't. It almost felt, when you're looking at Fluffy Gamers, because they're so confident on this map, it doesn't matter if they're behind by 1 and 2. They still understand the protocols and what they need to watch over and how they can play the retake where it's weaker on the other end where they lost a player to capitalize on these dubs. I mean, if you're looking at it, it's still 8 first bloods that you had for Dobro, so they had opportunities to really get the advantages in these rounds. But Fluffy Gamers were always like one step ahead in terms of util and trades that you saw. Especially, like, what was it, where that judge round with the pistols too is so hard to play against that.
Especially when you have to adapt to this neon and these ideas that the side of Dobros is trying to implement. Fluffy Gamers once again prove like they are so good at this map. And honestly, this is not an easy map at all. You need to have a lot of ideas, a lot of layers to it, as we've seen Fluffy Gamers have compared to a lot of the other teams in Challengers. That's why they continue to take these dominant wins like they just did against Dobros. And it's a team of Dobros that have some individual highlights, but when it comes to playing for the team, that's when they really do struggle the most. So I am at a point where I do get concerned about how it's going to be that map number 2 of Lotus. Dobros, that we've talked about it, they've been struggling, to be honest, and Fluffy Gamers, they're not perfect. They've been losing a couple matches here and there, but with the Lotus that you can see once again Zachary on this neon, you really do have to start to question how you can capitalize and get the most value out of these neon vans.
Yeah, definitely. If they want to try to get the neon out for the second time of Lotus, but I think what's going to be most interesting as well is just trying to bring it back. Just as Wyatt mentioned before on that first map, despite the scoreline that we see here at a 13-5, a lot of these situations are still very, very close, where it's a 2v2 at some point, it's a 1v1, lots of these moments through chaos as well. So I'd like to say training protocols are still pretty decent. That was coming out here from Dobros. If they're able to continue on that, but now on their map pick, maybe have that extra layer to continue from like that player advantage to make it a 2-player advantage, then you'll definitely see a more drilled Dobros going up against Fluffy Gamers here on Lotus.
Yeah, you can see on the scoreboard there, Jonah was pretty dominant in that game.
Oh, yeah.
For most of Dobro's attack side, they were not even going to his site. And then the few times they did, he was just getting 3K, 4K. He was so sick. And now that we're heading on to Lotus, despite losing this map to M80, he went crazy on the deadlock as well. I think he dropped 20 in that game. And I'm hoping they play the same comp because it was very cool. And I think that they lost that game in no way due to the comp. It was their overconfidence, starting to throw rounds away, and it's a strong map for M80 too. So I hope they run the same thing. It was a very cool look with an Astra and a deadlock.
And something that we got to talk about as well is that for the side of Dobros, this map looks as dominant as Sunset looked for Fluffy Gamers, where the last one that they played it, they won a 13-2 against Core, and they won a 13-4 against Moy Shopify, one that people were not really expecting much for them to at least get away with that map. So it looks as dominant. I'm just wondering though, because it's been a couple weeks, ever since they played it, that was what, week number 2, ever since we had the new patch, we've had the neon. We know that Zachary likes to play the neon, so that's why I'm feeling that they're gonna be running with this neon composition, and I want to see how much dominant they can continue to be Vans, because they need to win this map. They need to get some wins on the board.
I do agree. I also think at the same time, though, the approach that they have from Dobros on how they attack here on the side of Lotus is quite different because they're still getting a lot of value with the deadlock in the Cloven.
Well, let's see if it's going to be the deadlock, the Clove. Let's jump into Zippo Agent Select, see what the teams are going to be bringing to the table. And yeah, it's going to be the Clove and the deadlock. The composition looking a little crazy for the side of Dobros, but they continue to play with Zachary on the Raze. On the other side, once again, we're going to have very interesting that deadlock duel between the two, between Drone and Pancakes. And I'm going to leave you guys take it away. Let's see if Fluffy Gamers can take this 2-0.
Thank you, Dendrite. And at least now, while you're looking at this from Fluffy Aimer's side, yes, there's still a deadlock in there, but there's still a slight change in the composition that they're bringing through, right? No more Breach, no more Astra, no more Sky. This looks to me, what is it, like a Fnatic type of strat now with double Sentinel?
This is exactly what Sentinels ran, actually.
There you go, Sentinels
where,
as well,
yeah, where they beat NRG just last week. In pretty dominant fashion. I'm a huge fan of the Deadlock Cypher. I think it's a really, really strong duo. That was what Turtle Troop started bringing into the Challengers meta. Back in stage 1, they were playing tons of Deadlock, found massive success with it on, what was that, Ascent. And Deadlock on Lotus was something we were seeing previously from other teams too. Loud were running that back in stage 1 with Sodhawk. So this is certainly a map where Deadlock has been somewhat familiar, and I'm excited to see what Fluffy Gamers can do with it here with this a little compositional adjustment. They've swapped in, like you said, the Omen instead of the Astra. And now they're back to Sky, an old reliable agent, which they really like to play, despite her falling a bit out of the meta.
Especially in the hands of Neptune or Pancakes. Sky usually in very good hands here for Fluffy Aimers on that end. And they'll start things off on the defensive side. This is a second map now. Map picked by Dobros, where this is something new coming out of Fluffy Aimers. Taking out the Sentinel comp, as you mentioned here, Wyatt. They have to kind of be ready for that. And they seem to be ready for it. I mean, look at them. They know that there should be a camera somewhere on this side of
Bro's about to run out of ammo.
Yeah.
Gonna have to go running around with a knife out.
Or a
Zachary's
boombot.
the little boombot. Zachary gonna get that early orb off this mound control. Typically in the old meta, when everyone was playing, you know, like Fade, Raze, Omen, Viper, all of that, this map was super attack-sided, but that's kind of gone out the window at this point with how much things have been swapped up. And you have to imagine, starting with the Deadlock Cypher on defense, that Fluffy Aimers can put a good number of rounds on the board. It's difficult as attackers when you're hitting into a site that has both Sentinels' utility. You know, it allows the other defenders to play in other areas on the map. You can see here there's a trip, there's a sonic sensor on C. Well, B is cut off by the barrier mesh. And look at this, there's 4 players from Fluffy Aimers here.
Just a good read overall on the util that's coming through the trip, and the sonic sensor is still up, so it's not a good spot now for Dobros as they're trying to execute towards the seaside. First blood, second in favor of Pancakes. Fluffy Aimers just holding their ground towards the seaside. Just too much utility across, and Fluffy Aimers continues the run and the domination that they just showed on the first map of Sunset.
Dobros show that early presence C, but they can't do anything B. The barrier mesh is up. Fluffy Aimers know nothing is happening towards A either, so not only do they stack up 4 players, but lovely little util setup where when that sonic sensor got tripped, that grav net right there was immediately thrown down by Pancakes. I mean, what can you do? You're hit by a sonic sensor, you're stunned, you're in a grav net, and then when they get through it, they run into a tripwire. It's just a nightmare for them.
And you saw the idea of potentially trying to still be able to work this B and C side, but that barrier mesh that was thrown up, there was not enough bullets to break that down. So committed to that spot, now committed into trying to create a diversion towards this A side. Riku just got dropped, and it may force, once again, all 4 players to work towards this B side. Thankfully, this is what we needed here. Pain shells to get thrown across to break that util, and also the camera might give a chance finally for Dobros to move in and go for a plant. Until I say that, gap in the smoke, a crossover that allows a trade to happen, but Drone almost got 2 here with a classic. Plant will go down, so you'll at least put that check mark through to get the economy, the money in your favor in and against the bonus round of Fluffy Aimers in the next.
Again, Fluffy Aimers just doing all the little things. They're focused up. They're big favorites in this game for sure, but the fine details are being addressed right there. Pancakes was closer to his ult. He's going to go over, take that defuse. It's the little things, you know?
Yeah.
And again, they've got a pretty clean, anti-eco after winning a pistol. This is exactly how Sunset started, and they converted the bonus round there. So we'll see if they can do the same on Lotus, get out to that really strong advantage early into the map.
Now it's mind games for Fluffy Aimers. And also for Dobros. Okay, 2 hits towards the C side, both denied. They're not going to hit it a third time, right? But then, here it comes.
I mean, look at the map on the A site right now. It's ridiculous.
Oh, just trying to stall them towards this A site as they think the hit's coming through. And, well, it looked like it was going to be a Dobro saying, well, third time's the charm for us towards the C site. But now overthinking it and pushing everybody back towards the A site. And they're going to walk into what? Catherine Zeta-Jones entrapment type of play towards the A side and trying to get through these laser beams.
Do Dobros end up breaking this wall, though? They should. All right, they're doing the right thing. At least making it seem like there could be pressure towards B, right? Like maybe they work up A and go for a B split through Baby Door. But you have Pancakes, that defending deadlock, one of 2 Sentinels meeting up with their Sentinel friend Jonah to anchor the site with 4 trips. I mean, they should be winning this with the anchoring.
Well, at least they shut down an alley of re-entry on the defensive side. The wall comes up from drone to cover up the staircase. There's that hit inside. Double nets coming through, catching a lot of fish. And they realize now that they have to fall back towards this B side where currently Mummy's waiting. But Jonah
my
out from behind. The execution now leaving Ange alone. 2 players swinging out. No time left and no lives left for Dobros as FAIM once again convert the bonus round.
Man, no one in the series can get an ace. That's like 3 4Ks and then they take the last duel and lose it. What a paranoia from Mame.
Yeah.
The swing from Jonah. I mean, they fall right into the trap there. I mean, you can't blame Dobros. They're hitting into the A site. They recognize, oh God, there's 4 trips, there's 2 Sentinels. Quick, pivot into B, pivot. And then they just get paranoid and snacked on in the Baby Door. Again, Fluffy Aimers win first pistol, convert their bonus, just like on Sunset. Opportunity to now get 4 on the board if they get a clean anti-eco here.
Ange slipped through though. Might get an opportunity to surprise Pancakes and will do so. That's 1 player down and Orb picked up for Zachary, and a C-side open after the Prowler notices nobody close to the waterfall. So it's time to play revolving door, run these fakes, force the hand out of FAIM, who are now dogging outside of front B.
Pretty dangerous play there from Pancakes, just jiggling that close on an anti-eco as well. Definitely a situation where he might have just gotten, ran down if there were a lot of players in B as well. So not opting for maybe the typical passive play. It's going to be a nade, paranoia, and Bones capitalizing off it. Can he get the ace this time? No one can get an ace, man. Oh my God. Oh, he got it. He got it. Oh my God. Never mind. The first ace. Holy crap. I mean, it's Bones again. In the first map, he got a 4K, lost the last duel. But it's all right. He didn't even take the duel. He just threw out a second nade. That's how you get it.
And gets 3 on top of that. That's crazy. But yeah,
abilities, they don't kill in Project A. Famously, they've never gotten a kill in Project A.
Never did. And because of that, let's just nerf it down to 1 page shell. And still get 3 kills out of that. Yeah, that was a crazy round to come through, but I think it also paints the story of what Dobros is currently doing right here, Wyatt, where they are setting up for a lot of these defaults, and they are trying to get a good orb control, but they're not trying to really fully extend to get real information of where the setups could be, or like breaking util, forcing out these rotates, just because of one barrier mesh in the middle, or that single person that plays so forward in front of that B site is the one that's giving all the information available for the rest of Fluffy Aimers to be able to react, I mean, pristinely every single time.
Yeah, out of that round, they should realize that Pancake's play on B is pretty exploitable. And frankly, Pancakes may just completely get away from doing that, jiggle. And out of the timeout, it's actually Fluffy Aimers that are going to fully switch up their defense, focus being placed on B. And Dobros, they've picked up the AWP, thrown it to Riku, and they want to go for a full A-Rubble control play. Satchel across, doesn't get caught by the defensive AWP. Pancake's picking that up out of the timeout too. Both teams switching things up, trying to get a little surprise into the mix.
With a showstopper now getting ready to hold back towards the B side or their staircase, depending where Dobros wants to initiate the hit. And now with the barrier mesh coming up here towards this revolving door and the door reopening, it's time to once again force the hand out of Fluffy Aimers to get information. So Pancakes is going to try to swing out after the flash. Looks towards the left side of the door. There's still a player anchored up inside here. Make that even two. Oh, he almost got the connection there. The leg shot for the second one onto precision. And that initiates the rest of Dobro trying to rush inside the site. There's the up coming into work. The showstopper, no result because Jonah already picks up all the kills. There's only two left alive now for Dobros being Riku and Precision. And they're going to find all that information from the hack being thrown on the defensive side. And nade after nade, it is just mortar attacks coming out here from Bones, and Rico has no choice but to slow down the pacing and hoping to win these individual fights.
30 seconds left.
Now they're walking up here very slowly. First contact there at the wall bang. Unfortunately, no kill as Bones survives at 8 HP. And this will be the call now to just pull back if you can and save the op.
Be able to though. 12 seconds. It's just around the corner.
Has to reload.
Actually, getting chased down is not on the run. Still tries to swing and gives it up. That's a high risk, low reward maneuver right there, and gets punished hard for it by Mame on the hunt. Fluffy Aimers, no risk in hunting. I mean, that was almost the collat. 9 HP on precision. And again, Fluffy Aimers, look at that fast flood in. Jonah is so good anchoring. 7-3 already on this map. What an addition to this Fluffy Aimers squad he's been. Just a rock on defense that Dobros have not been able to maneuver around on either map. So good.
Great. Like, so far, the trades have been going through for Fluffy Aimers in that roster and also for YFP. Remember, those are two players going on that side. They both got great upgrades for both YFP and FAIM, and the YFP's game's coming up next. So I love here that you're finding great value out of these so far for Fluffy Aimers. We're looking to close a 6th round from Bones, aforementioned easy 2 picks at the very beginning, and you have that confidence. Riku falls, the 180 onto precision, and man, are we dancing. We did have Ange ulting inside the seaside, but they flipped the map. They're watching that spike, and Neptune once again just stays put and gets an easy kill.
Against this comp, Dobros really cannot be going for these, 5-man go towards one area of the map type plays. They have to explore. They were running into a stack here. Again, they did not know that. Look at the other side of the map, if you could, really quick there. The deadlock. Pancakes was all the way pushed up A. The entire setup, all the Sentinel util on B. They're doing the same thing right now, and it allowed them to just fully stack towards C. Dobros really need to prod around. They need to get more map control, get some information on this Sentinel utility. Because they're either going to be running into, if they just play like that, they're either running into a stack or they're running into 4 tripwires. They really have to be able to get the info on these defensive setups. Yeah. Because they're so strong with this double Sentinel comp.
You're hoping it's going to be the conversation now when Dobros will call out a timeout. You just saw earlier here, Drone picked up an ult for even if you already had the ult, because they want to make sure they can deny it on the other end. Showstopper to try to get an entry, does not get a full kill. At least Ange has slipped through the smoke to get the 1-for-1. Bones evens up the tally, but they have better end economy. Nice following behind the Haunt and the Prowler, rather, to get these kills and give a chance for a plant.
Last player standing.
Oh my gosh. GC Sheriff is back. And now Mame is going to TP across walls. This is amazing. This is amazing Valorant right now. How do you counter the deadlock meta? Just bring an Omen in your comp. But a 1 versus 2, weapons available. Riku. Ooh, okay, we'll be forced to res, but the op is ready to get pointed up. Sees the last one, op shot misses. 8 bullets left onto Mame. Tap onto that spike, just holding on the outside. Sees it as Zachary lands the shot, and the Thrifty comes in favor of Dobros.
What a shot from Zach at the end. And what shots from the entire team throughout the round. I mean, just straight up Sheriffs taking duels, they win them. That's one way to get your first round on the board. And just taking a massive risk, swings through the smoke, finds the first, draws a little attention, allows the rest of the players to spill into the site and win some just clean, straight up duels. Oh my God, Mummy's Mummy's pissed, but in the silly way, not in the legitimate mental boom way, because they know they're still running away with this. They're going to throw Riku that off. This is something they did earlier on a buy round.
Zachary already made it across with the satchel, so trying to add a little bit more pressure and a little bit more speed into Dobros on the A side this time around, just to go back into the protocols of keep your enemies at bay towards the A site. Now finally leveraging the doors here to make sure that they could waste out the utility out from Fluffy Aimers, but this is a round where you still have the economy advantage in terms of ults here, Wyatt, where they could do a lot of damage and just easily cancel out what Precision has on the execution with the Nightfall.
Not sure if Vange got spotted, but I like this so far. They insert him over onto A. You know, they put this smoke up. And actually gonna get pinged, and the showstopper comes out. Wow, shut down. And now the rest of the team, if they accelerate into C, it's 4 trips that await them.
Behind on the top of heaven through the smoke, they have the trip kills available, but unfortunately it's the boom bot that clears out the trips, so no opportunities to go for a trap kill from Jonah. Now engaging, initiating into the retake plate, then the paint shells come out to do some damage from the wall bang as well from Pancakes. If not, pretty much Precision was dead to rights. Now cocooned up. Pulled into the site. Neptune gets the headshot onto Drone. As finally Pancakes falls, nobody to save him. Not out like a butterfly, but Riku just got picked off by Neptune. An opportunity once again for Fluffy Aimers to hold down the C site, prevent the plant from coming down, and the flood in from Fluffy Aimers continues to be too much. As now, just in the spirit of summer European football, we have the 7-1 scoreline.
They just, again, are routed into the Sentinel setup. There was no one immediately to just, you know, play off the trips, try to swing and fight. But the second layer from Fluffy Aimers is that once DB finally, they're unstunned from the sonic sensor. They break the trips. When they round the corner, immediately, Paint Shell, Gravnet catches them, slows them down further. All of that delay allows the perfect flood. So nicely done by Fluffy Aimers. Again, the little duo of utility in tandem. I mean, it's just perfect from them.
And those have found good successes on B mains on contact, and this time just reading how quickly Dobros likes to move towards the A site. They trap the smoker, now they push out again. Over-aggression, overconfidence, why the hell not? Bones swinging out, a second shot onto Riku to get the 3 into the round. Bones Appetit continuing to light up the kill feed.
I can't. I actually cannot.
That's a shout out to tension, though. That was a nice little line I had to bring into the broadcast.
That's strike 1 against you. Actually, strike 2. You said that Fluffy Aimers were oiled up on map 1, so that's 2 strikes. You got one more. You got one more, and Dryads casting with me.
They're slipping away with this game.
One more, and Dryads casting with me. You're on thin ice.
No combination, at least this time around, for Fluffy Aimers towards the A side. So the read was that it was going to be a commitment to the C. But Fluffy Aimers, they're just trying to make the noise, baiting out this hit on the A side, and a late 4-player push that's going to get spotted by the dog.
First time Fluffy Aimers are going for an aggro play out of B. Showstopper forces them back, but it was actually over towards A where Jonah gets caught out. The site totally open.
One target captured, and Bones is still there for the reinforcements. Yeah, even if the Showstopper got the kill towards the A side, Bones avenged his teammate. And it seems as though Dobros were so committed into the 4-1 split towards this B side, not giving an opportunity for Zachary to sell any fakes. As now we have a stalemate, but a player advantage once again still for Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, Dobros have really just been so committed to their initial game plan into these rounds. You haven't really seen a lot of, you know, prodding, poking into sights into mid-round adaptation from them, and it's been
left.
their undoing. Again, they run into a stack there on B. It's going to be a TP now from Mame. I didn't see where that was too, actually. Maybe just trying to get some info, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Trying to look back
Here's
towards
them
the
in
front.
B and gets that first with the op.
Yeah, that was enough delay coming out with the sonic sensor to allow Mummy to get that pick. At least he'll get the plant down for Dobros, but they need the rounds to try to stay in this game. But now you see the commitment coming out from Fluffy Gamers from all angles, all corners, no chance. Even looks like it was a kill coming through the smoke on to Riku. And another defuse comes across for Fluffy Aimers. And you mentioned when they had a good sunset for that first map for Fluffy Aimers, they're looking well. I was going to say it again, but they're looking much better on Lotus. In terms of the new comp that they brought out here, a little bit of aspiration out of that Sentinels the Sentinels composition that you mentioned before we got into this map.
Sound sensor out.
Yeah, just taking it right from Sen, who showed success with it in VCT, beating NRG with it. Bones is on fire right now. Neptune got that last orb as well, so Seekers into this round. Again, set up swap, trips towards C, fight for A early.
Great job here for the free cam of the observers, allowing us to have the free bird cam and the drone shot to allow to see Dobros actually finally getting first and second blood. Something that I was trying to mention earlier on before we started this map. This should be a round converted for Dobros because they still look pretty good when they're working as a group, at least on Sunset.
Yeah, that was a good gravnet thrown over by drone away with this deadlock to fight for rubble. And it caught Bones, who's stuck crouched, goes down. Jonah pushing out for information. And off of it, and you can see that Neptune and Pancakes, they both rotated over towards A. But Dobros, they're slowing things down. They don't need to rush. Huge man advantage. Don't run into the stack. Don't run into all that Sentinel utility.
The thing is right now, though, from Andrew's position, he heard the camera up on the C side, and here's a rotate back from Jonah towards C. So they're like, okay, well, maybe they're just thinking to anchor back towards the C side, so A side should be open, right? So they try to go in, the mesh wall comes out, and there's a swing out from Fluffy Aimers on this A side. No contact for Pancakes until the spray transfer comes in for the 2 kills. At least the reset was nice on that second kill on drone. And now with the spike down with 16 seconds left, you have to come in out towards this A site. Pancakes continues to dance around that map and run that clock down to give a chance now for Jonah to meet up. He falls, but Jonah's now in a perfect position. Slip through as they get the plant down. He should get the backstab now on to Zachary, but Zachary finally was ready, looking at the drop, gets the pick, and finally as well, Dobro scored a second.
Round in the half.
Scary for a moment with a haphazard attempt at breaking that barrier mesh, and Pancakes full advantage of it. Cool little attempt from Neptune there as well, trying to make a big play when the sonic sensor was tripped. Despite all that, though, Dobros were able to capitalize off that early round advantage they got fighting for rubble, capitalizing off their own grab net by getting that first blood onto Bones. 3 is not a lot of rounds, but, you know, perhaps it could be enough if the defense is electric.
You're hoping that's going to be the case. But they are only playing with the deadlock so far, and now it looks like Fluffy Aimers want to fight back on towards that mount. A trap play set up with the door opening across, and that engages now Dobros to fight towards the front B site. But again, the kill feed goes back and forward. As it's back on a 2v2, and Neptune just slipped through behind the boxes. Might not get checked, and there's that 1 and 2. 10-2 half in favor of the Fluffy Aimers on the second map of Lotus.
Again, that was just elite gameplay from Fluffy Aimers. And Dobros simply could not find the answer at any point.
One enemy remaining.
You know, the 2 rounds that they were able to get, one was an insane just Sheriff eco round where they hit headshots. The other was that good fight at A. That was a quality round that they played to get the second, but Fluffy Aimers were just far too good. They couldn't find the solution to working around the double Sentinel setup. And listen, for FAIM, if they have a second map in their pool now that is as high quality as their Sunset, you know, that basically means that every series they're going to at least get one of their S-tier maps, right?
Yeah.
And that might be what takes them over the edge against some of the top teams that they've been so close to beating, but haven't been able to beat so far.
It definitely does give a lot of faith here to Fluffy Aimers should they make it to the playoffs, to see how they've turned things around and into comp changes and being an unsigned team still coming out with great strategy. Now they're just jiggling for information on this defensive side. Dobros gets first contact of 3 players moving forward and fairly quickly towards this A site. And Precision now has no choice but to fall back as he's down at 50 HP. Okay, well, it's big. It continues to be very quick for FAIM. Into the A site we go. A trade-off for a 1-for-1. And finally we have a flank coming out from Ange. This might do a lot of get good value against his opponents, especially when the door gets open with the camera coming up, though, from Jonah. They now know Ange is on the flank, so they can commit now on the 4-player hit inside the site. 3-player retake for Dobros from the top of heaven. Paint shells now do good damage onto Jonah, who stands his ground, but still finally gets picked off by Zachary. Tap on the spike, forcing now Fluffy Aimers to run across. Zachary gets a second kill onto the board. Paint shells to push the last 2 players back now, allowing for a player to stick onto that spike. It's going to be Zachary. It goes for a 1-for-1, but the defuse will come through. We'll make it expensive. We'll get the ult orbs up, but the round still comes back for Dobros.
Yeah, nice retake. That was a good little nade there from Zachary, who put Jonah in such a tough position yet right here, and then they were able to just flood onto him. Just good fundamentals shown from Dobros. You can just see in all those moments their spacing was really nice. They were swinging off of each other in good fashion. Obviously still a massive uphill climb for them, down 10-3, but you have to win that pistol to start it.
With the second round, though, trying to do a replica of a C's nade by throwing the net with the paint shells, hoping to catch Drone in the combination of a utility. But now the commitment to just, hey, say, let's hold W. Let's try to get this plant in. Riku ready for the first shot, but not hitting a second with the outlaw. Drone is still there to support. Grab net to reply back. That does catch Bones, but he's made it out to safety. Paranoia wasted out too on the defensive side, which now gives a chance for this lurk to happen. Jonah gets the pick onto Precision. They hear the crossover, though, because Zachary's still there with his Vandal.
Jonah putting up his little setup on A.
This goes here.
Just
that
to
goes
get a
there.
little info in case they start rotating in, but it's baby door where Zachary catches the first. Maybe they can get a spike down, get a little boost to their economy in the next.
Tapping and now planting it for tree and drop. So with Neptune falling down, they do know where at least some of the players are. One towards spawn, one towards the door, and with also the revolving door opening on tree, it forces FAIM to push out. Dude, it's not even with a sheriff that time. It's a classic that lands right into the dome of Riku. Paranoia available. That's going to hit too, but Zachary's there for the save at least. No shenanigans this time around for Fluffy Aimers on a Thrifty. You have the round converted on the anti-eco after winning the pistol for Dobros.
A couple players taken out, but ultimately it doesn't matter since they carried over 2 ghosts into that round, and all of the weapons will be saved for the Dobros. Big round now. Crucial for this comeback to be turned into a reality. They have to convert the bonus here.
Scary wide. We have this ult available for Zachary, though, with the amount of kills that he's gone from the first to the second round. We know how chaotic it's been on that pistol round that allowed here Zachary to get a lot of value, even with the defuse on the pistol. So Fluffy Aimers, they have to be ready for this. And you can kind of see it. They're going for a 3-1-1, trying to probe out the map and trying to see where Zachary could be posted.
Fluffy Aimers just playing it slow towards Mound, spamming box just in case. Slowly controlling the other areas of the map, just playing for information.
I'm not trying to break any util so far. I mean, no pain shells was thrown here by Bones into the entrance of the C site to break any of that util. They don't know because it's a barrier mesh to start things off, though, that was thrown by Drone. And they're probably just going to wait that wall out.
If this execute comes in, Fluffy Aimers have both sonic sensors to deal with. And look at that grav net ready here as well for Drone.
And Dog's also going to clear and get information where the sonic sensors are at. There's a satchel across. Showstopper is out, no contact. Tides have turned back in favor of Fluffy Aimers in terms of economy and players running and overtaking this C site. Door also being open as Jonah meets up to the rest into the fray for the plant. Set up for Fluffy Aimers towards C. Drones inside the site, but it's a 1-for-1. Not waiting for his teammates, trying to go for the hero play. And instantly you see Fluffy Aimers with the advantage on this post plant. Middle Elise being used. He does hit a few of them. Pancakes swinging out. It's a 2-for-1 in terms of trades, but a 2-player advantage on the attack. And make that even 3. So economy is going to be very good going into Fluffy Aimers. 11th round and round number 15. 2 more to try to close the series against Dobros.
Just some great post-plant positioning from Fluffy Aimers. Mummy getting up top there and swinging off of each other nicely. Dobros forced into this timeout. Essentially with the game on the line here. This is going to be their full buy. And if they lose that, you have to imagine it's game over. And Fluffy Aimers will have that gun advantage, util advantage on the final round. Everything on the line here with Coach Hayes getting into the mix, the experienced veteran that has been working with the Doe brothers this season.
Yeah, I had a chance to catch up with Hayes' stream before he actually had to leave for practice with Dobros, and he was basically
pro players.
Yeah, exactly.
You're cool.
James and I are kind of cool like that, you know, so I call him by his first name. And, yeah. So we're just having casual conversations of him getting ready for the match by playing Mana Lords and Narudoodle. Did you know that was a Naruto or whatever it's called?
I don't know what that is.
Guess the Naruto character of the day. And that type of those type of games. There's like a word game with Naruto.
Shit. Nerds.
Dude, him and Corey were popping off. And that's why with this timeout, I don't even know where I was getting with that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I was waiting for where that was headed. Nowhere. Just headed straight to the void.
Yeah, it goes straight into the bin. Let's turn around over, though, because off this timeout, there is a force buy coming out from Dobro. So back into the same scenario as Sunset. They want to make sure that they don't allow Fluffy Aimers to get the early overtime setup, and they definitely don't want to play the comeback into the overtime for Dobros.
Slowly working up AR FAIM. They have Jonah's cam a bit further back. This is the same setup that Jonah had in the previous round. Oh, and Pancake's going to throw down that barrier, but play in front of it. Classic play towards stairs. Frankly, you have to expect this as a defender. It's done so frequently.
I've never seen that before. But a pop flash allows Bones to try to go for a swing and maybe a pre-fired shot. But you definitely do see on the other end of that cyber cage that Riku wants to make sure that nobody gets through. And this gives you the opportunity, though, for this to happen. For Pancakes behind his wall, actually, that just break that area so he can go back in the site and sit up here on the pulse plan for Fluffy Aimers. So great timing also to understand what that wall was going to come down so they could really set up an oppressive post-plant scenario for Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, I liked that faux B pivot, which allowed the A site to be taken a bit easier. 5-on-5 retake now.
EG boat. Util coming out, though, for the defensive side. It's a 1-for-1. Both Deadlock scoring onto the board. But Zachary is able to give some sort of hope now for Dobros to engage on the retake. Nice shot by Neptune, but there is Ange with the Bulldog, avenging his teammates, getting 2 on the board. And Dobros actually ended up having a really clean retake.
They're still in the game. Their A retakes, they've shown that they're quality. They, on the pistol round as well, I believe that was a 4v4 situation, now a 5v5. And have shown that they are well drilled in those situations, which you do, frankly, expect from them. They've shown dominance on this map so far in the season. This is their first time being, I think, even down in rounds on Lotus this season. So in a situation like that, you know that they're going to have their big retake protocols, you know, well-oiled, let's say. The gears, well-oiled, man.
Defense, well-oiled. Yeah, for sure. If you're looking at
Oiled up, even.
You just mentioned it. They're
Some may say.
19-5 on their defensive rounds when they were able to play against Core and Moistek Shopify previously. So a 79% win rate on this map. You're definitely starting to see it here. They're okay to give up portion of the map. They're okay to play the retake, and it doesn't really fluster them so far, at least when you're looking at it on how Fluffy Immerse is playing this double Sentinel composition here, which maybe kind of makes sense if you're looking at on the side for Fluffy Immerse. When you're playing double Sentinel, he was definitely going to be much stronger on the defensive side, technically on paper. And maybe that's less util to use on the attack, less util to have on these post-plant scenarios. Sorry, I just laughed that one. I'm like, where are you putting a satchel if you're just going to break it and come across, right?
Yeah, I know. That was somewhat silly.
Nonetheless, Jonah made it through. So he hears that info, he hears the shot, and now he could lurk behind.
Bones gets caught, though, haphazardly fighting towards rubble while Stairs was exposed.
No.
What shots from Mame?
Oh, no, it's happening again. Riku now the last player standing, and also once again engaging in the flanker rather. And finally Jonah gets picked off, but that should not have happened. And that's based once again on the information that Jonah was able to get by lurking across towards that back and letting his teammates know that there was at least 2 players flanking and not 1. And they met all 3, got all these shots from Meme's position, and yeah, those were some nice shots.
I think that was a nice little sky flash as well that looked like it had the deadlock blinded. Wow, Neptune's sitting at 20-8 now. It's just somehow, some way, at some point. I didn't see one, but he's climbed the scoreboard.
Silent killer. 13 assists on top of that, and you mentioned those flashes, right? So yeah, he's...
What's that copy paste? You don't remember a Neptune kill. They just, I forget how that whole copy paste goes, but you know what I'm talking about. You know the vibes. Nightfall is used on A from Dobros, doesn't catch a soul. And off that, they're going to try and get into the C site fast. They'll have all the deadlock utility to contend with from Drone, but he's only got a Sheriff in hand, so how much can he really do?
Just trying to delay as much as he could. Thankfully, his util is doing enough to stun, slow down some players enough from Fluffy Amers to give a chance here for the rotate to happen. All of his util got great value, actually, this time around. And even if he only has a Sheriff, at least he has the Annihilation, and he's trying to get the contact, misses, and this allows Bones to get a pick. Actually, he does get contact onto 1, and they're also getting these kills coming out here for Dobros. There's only 1 player left, as the other one just got cocooned away to the void. And it's Jonah forced to play the pulse plant against close smokes. It's not going to happen. They'll swing it after this one as well from the Prowler. He'll get 1 for his troubles, but the defuse is still up. And it almost seems like a very similar scenario from Sunset. They get 1 here for Dobros, backs against the wall, but it's only a matter of time, it feels like, once again here, Wyatt.
Yeah, I'm going to drop some new Doe Brothers cope, which is that if they started on defense, could definitely see this being a much closer game. These set retakes from them have been fantastic. They've won 2 5v5 full retakes. They won a 4v4 retake on the pistol round. 2 of them were on A, and now they've shown that they can do the same on B really effectively. These situations, you know, these kind of protocol set situations, they have looked really, really clean. Again, there's a reason they keep picking this map. They've been dominant on it twice against Core, against Moistek Shopify. But on attack, they could not find any solution. They did not know how to work around the Deadlock Sentinel, which has put them in this, you know, just dire situation. But perhaps if they started defense, they might have ended the half in the lead. They look really good right now that the sides have swapped. But like 10-2, you're just never going to make that comeback happen. It's just nearly impossible.
We've seen it happen before, though, on maps like these, in matches like these.
Have we?
I feel like I have. Don't ask me which one. I know it's happened. I just know that it has happened.
I can't remember any quotes or copy paste, but now I'm thinking of, was that a Fallen quote or a Taco Leah quote?
Yeah, the Inferno game
about coming back.
Did you guys win? Absolutely not. 16-3. No.
Yeah, that one. Classic.
That was a good one. If you're too young to know about that, make sure you Google it up. I think it was like Beyond the Summit type of conversation that they had there with Fallen and Taco on the couch. It was actually good times rolling back the years. Anyways, still map and series point in favor of Fluffy Aimers, and off the timeout. This is still something that Fluffy Aimers wants to try to work with. Look at this buy. They have 2 Vandals and an Outlaw, so they have committed to some sort of like a mixed buy, where if they lose this round, Neptune might not have enough econ, but the rest of their team will. But they want to get at least good value out of this buy and keep the economy low against Dobros.
FAIM are playing this slow 1-1-3. Now they're just backing off A. I mean, with Zachary firing the gun that close, they know they've fully lost control of Rubble there. It's going to be a smoke thrown down onto C from Mame, just trying to keep some attention drawn there.
30 seconds left.
Well, the main effort is going to come into the B site. Pancakes has that scope on Heaven. Now smoked off, loses the angle.
Looks like they still want to commit, though, for Fluffy Aimers. There's that swing out. The Haunt does get information on 2, yet the score still is in favor of Neptune and the player's advantage. Plat now coming down, 11 seconds left. Showstopper, no contact for Zachary. Swinging out for a kill, denied by a Sheriff. This might be it right here. Only drone is left, spotted by the Neural Theft as Bones picks up the last kill, staying on top of the scoreboard as Fluffy Aimers will take the series over Dobros.
Bones going absolutely crazy on that map. Finishes things off in the last round. Neptune as well. Really fantastic there on Lotus. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to their defense. Comes down to that double Sentinel composition. It was so strong. Dobros could simply not locate the solution. They could not locate the right site to hit in a single round. It completely threw them off.
That definitely looks like at a point here when you're gamifying pretty much the map in veto process, and you realize that the last map is going to be on Lotus, and you pull out this double senti because you could start on the defensive side as well. That definitely does help give you that cushion to see this tend to happen. As we've mentioned, unfortunately there, it's just a matter of time here before Fluffy Aimer is able to take this over. So now it's time to bring back Dan Dryad so that she could share her thoughts on what she saw so far in this series.
Yeah, it was a 2-0 that we were kind of wondering if it was going to happen or not, and especially because we talked about Dobros having such a good score on the last 2 times that they played this map of Lotus. They ran with the same composition, but it just didn't go their way. Fluffy Aimers looked amazing. I think individually we saw the ways that they were combining the flashes with Neptune along with what Bones was doing as well towards the last couple rounds. I think it was a very good, convincing map. I would say this is the best series that we've seen for Fluffy Aimers so far, Wyatt.
Yeah, I would agree. It's certainly their most dominant series. Yeah, and I would agree. I think it is their best series as well. And I said it briefly during the game, but if they have a second map now, Lotus, as well as Sunset, where they can play at such a fantastic level, I think that could take them over the edge in some of these close games that they've had against the top teams that they haven't been able to overcome, but we're on the cusp of doing. You know, last week when they lost to M80, they were looking great on Lotus, but it just slipped away at the very, very end. I believe they were like a 9-8 lead, and M80 just got 5 rounds in a row right at the end to close things out. And if their Lotus is this good now, you know, they could win a series like that 2-0.
Yeah, especially when it comes down to Breeze was a map that I really enjoyed playing during stage 1. Excuse me, as I have a frog in my throat. But at the same time, they had a great start where they had the dominant victory on week 1, I think, when they played Breeze, but we're only at 1-3. But they were kind of at a TSM spot where they still enjoyed playing Breeze if they could, because they're still pretty much comfortable on that. But now that it's out in the rotation and you're forcing plays and maps onto Lotus, this is actually a very nice 1-to-1 trade where you actually do see the advantage and the confidence that they have now in their map pool.
Yeah, it's really coming to a point where you're getting close to Ascension, you're getting close to playoffs, and you want to have those maps where nobody can take you down. So I feel like that's something that Fluffy Aimers has been doing really well. We got the chance to see it today, and I can't wait to. I feel like for me, I see them as my underdogs for playoffs and what they can do, just with the way that some of these ideas are coming through. But we have a break, and when we come back, we have an interview with Bones right after this break.
Bones appetit.
remaining. One enemy remaining.
Camera team.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down, B. 10 seconds left. One enemy remaining. Spike down, B. There. One enemy remaining. 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 Ace. One enemy remaining. 60 seconds left. One enemy. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Just a quick break with those highlights that we got the chance to see for Fluffy Aimers. And now it's time for the interview. I'm joined by Bones to talk about this win and talk about this whole evolution that we've seen for Fluffy Aimers. Bones, congratulations on this win. The first question that I want to ask you is how today the team looked honestly amazing, and you guys have had some ups and downs, but what is making the team click so well for these two maps that we got the chance to see today?
Well, I think it just comes down to our practice, honestly. Like, we've been looking really good in scrims and just playing together, and I think that really showed today and how we played in these match.
And that's the thing, it looks really good, and you guys are not bringing any of these new ideas that we're seeing for other teams, including, Dobros today, but a lot of the teams and challengers that are bringing the ISO and the Neon. You as a duelist, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the current meta, and if maybe we can see some of those that you guys would play in the future?
I mean, yeah, I think the meta right now is really changing, and I think some people may like it or dislike it, but I think I really like the change, to be honest, because of the roles, like the new characters that you're able to play, like Neon and ISO, and I think it'll be really fun if my team and I are able to showcase it later in our later matches.
I would love to see that. You've been having such a good performance on the maps, and I feel like those characters, it will suit you very well. I want to ask you as well about Sunset. Sunset in the last 3 times, including today that you played it, has looked amazing. Would you say that this is just your best map overall, and what makes you guys do so well on Sunset?
Yeah, I think Sunset is our best map overall. Basically, I think my team and I just have a really good understanding of how to play the map fundamentally. We all kind of know what to do without even communicating all of the times, to be honest. We really just understand how to play the map naturally as a team, I feel. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not an easy map, and you guys really make it look easy in the past couple times we've seen you guys win it. I have one more question for you. Your last match of this second split is going to be against Dark Zero, who actually took a win against Oxygen, the favorite, yesterday. So what are your thoughts on going against Dark Zero?
Yeah, I think they're a really good team, and of course beating Oxygen is not an easy opponent. I think we're just going to play our game and practice, and we'll see when we play them.
All right, we're going to see what happens. Thank you so much, Bones, for joining me for this interview. This is everything that we have for the post-match interview, but we have one more match to go after this break. We're going to have M80 going against YFP, so don't go anywhere.
They say in life, there are no guarantees. They say a lot of stuff like that. Slow it down. Play it safe. Hedge your bets. So what? You gonna listen to that? You gonna stop because they can't guarantee you'll pull this off? No guarantee you'll win? No guarantee everything's gonna be fine? life, you make your own guarantees. Nobody else will light your way. Start your own fire and keep it burning. And we guarantee you'll have one hell of a lifetime.
Face.